Legier with Laurie's Country Cottage. I'm an instructor here and so happy to be back to see you all again. I want to mention that some of my classes that I'm offering this time are postponed classes from closing during COVID. And the people that were in those classes waited so patiently, I had to make them a priority to get them their classes in. So I'll be offering them to if there's any spots left in them, I'll be offering them to the public. You might have only 1 spot or 3 spots in some of them. So I hope you understand that I had to give these patient people their classes first before I moved on to my new classes. So just wanted to explain that first. One of those classes is Basic Machine Applique, and that's a class where you're going to learn mainly the satin stitch, but we'll cover the blanket stitch as well. Satin stitch is a little more difficult. If you get the hang of that, blanket stitch is going to be very easy for you. All you need on your sewing machine if you want to do the satin stitch is a zigzag stitch and the option to change the stitch width and the stitch length. And if you can do that, you'll need an open toe foot. We'll talk about that at orientation. It's just a little foot that will help you see what you're doing. And we're good to go. So hope you can join us. There are, let me just check. Yes, there are a few spots. I'm offering it twice, and there are a few spots left in both of those classes. So have a look at the brochure and pick the dates that work for you. Thanks. So another class I'm going to teach is One Block Wonder and Stack and Whack. They're both kaleidoscope quilts and very similar in appearance, but they start the same way, but they finish differently. So I think we can do them both together in the same class. I'll explain at orientation the differences, the pros and cons of each of them, and you can decide which one you want to do. There's only 1 spot left in that class, unfortunately, but if you put your name on the waiting list, we'll see what we can do to get another class going. So I hope you can join us for that. This is called Kids Quilt Mini, and it's a small wall hanging meant for you to make for a grandchild or a son or daughter or some little one in your life. But maybe they want to make it themselves, and that's quite possible. The cat that you see in the picture is made with a blanket stitch around all the individual pieces, and that would be the adult version. You can make any pattern, any of the 9 patterns that way. If you prefer to have a child make it, we're going to use a different process to attach the fabric, to applique it on, and it won't need any blanket stitching. So it's basically trace and cut and then stick on with an iron. And mom or dad can help quilt, or grandma or grandpa or anybody else can help get it quilted for you. I like to use soft and stable in these wall hangings, and that takes very, very little quilting. So pick up a close child that you know. I would suggest the age of 10 or older, but you may have somebody that's 8 or 9 and you know they're quite capable, and that's just fine. You know them best. So come along, bring a child, or come alone and make it for a child. It's up to you. Well, this is my Stitchin' Stella. Does she look like me? She's supposed to. I tried to make her look like me. The hair color's right. I don't know about the rest of it, but lots of fun to make. This was something that I found at Quilt Market and just couldn't wait to try for myself and to teach others. And it was a lot of fun. I've collected a lot of these little things that you might need to help you build yours. So don't worry, but if you have things in little treasures in your sewing room, feel free to bring them along and add them to your doll and make it look just like you, or maybe some crazy lady from down the street. So this class is a brand new class, so all 8 spots are open. Hope you can make one of them. Another class I'm going to teach is Technique Academy. It's basically a sampler quilt. It has lots of different blocks, as you'll see in the photo. There's a New York Beauty that includes paper piecing, English paper piecing, several styles of applique, bargello, a twisted log cabin, and more, and then finishes with a pieced border. I needed to read that because I couldn't remember all of the things it included. There are 3 spots left in that class, so if you'd like to join us, don't delay. Think about it and sign up quickly because there are only 3 spots. Thank you. Another class I'm going to teach is called Perfect Endings, and I call it that because it's all about finishing your quilts. So if you're one of those people that took the beginner classes and learned lots and worked really hard on making that beautiful quilt top, but by the time you were ready to have it quilted and then bind it, you kind of forgot what you learned in class because some time had passed. this is a class for you. We're going to cover all of those things again, and you'll actually make your own samples to take home so that you can refer to them down the road. You can even bring your phone and camera along and record some of the things I'm demoing so that you can look at them, as long as you don't share them online. The things that we're going to be covering, we'll cover mitered corners, attaching the beginning of the binding to the end of the binding with a seam, hand stitching on the back, a 2-color binding that has no hand stitching at all, a hanging sleeve for wall hangings, a ladder stitch to close openings in the lining of a bag, a continuous bias binding, and other things as well. It's quite an exhausting day, but you'll learn lots. So I hope you'll see us there. I'm running that class 2 times, and there are a few spots in both classes, so you should be able to find a spot if you're interested. Thanks so much.